Hello, welcome back to the street circuit in Monaco. Yeah, there's Monaco there. Doesn't really matter. We're here looking at Q2. Q came into Q1 using the harder tires only, so this was quite a surprise that I had that pace. I wasn't expecting much from this Grand Prix. I was expecting about as much as I was from Catalonia, so basically somewhere in the back of the field, not getting anywhere near the top 10. But in practice and in the Q1, after practice I was getting my hopes up, and that's why I actually set the time in Q1 on the harder of the two tires. And here's my Q2 lap. So I thought I had a real shot to get into Q3. Wasn't sure how good it was gonna be. It looked promising, but you know, it often does. Ooh, a little bit unstable there. Not the best of laps, but we're doing well so far. Into the final corner. That's the worst section for me compared to the AI. I'm very slow through there, but I'm very quickly in the sector before that. Basically coming out of the tunnel is where I regain the most, or actually gain time. So here we are, I'm waiting, comparing my time of Q1 with my Q2 time. So I haven't really tested the time difference, so that was quite a bit. And I already think I pre-selected a new set of options in case I felt I had to go out, but here I'm looking at the differences between 9th and 10th place and me. Now you can see it's Hülkenberg. He's about 3/10 slower than me, and I was pretty confident he was not going to close that gap with a faster lap. Usually it was a bit of a gamble, but I thought I pretty much maxed out my pace there. But I was pretty happy with myself for the first time on the most unlikely track list as far as I was feeling before I started this race. I made it into Q3. So did I go for it in Q2? Hell yes I did. So let's watch. This is my first timed lap. I think I did a 19.5 some-ish. I pretty should. Oh no, 1.7 I think. God, I need to pay attention more to what I've been doing. Oh, it was 1.5, sorry. So into the final sector, staying in second. A little bit up to third. Always get a little bit antsy out of here, but get a pretty good exit. Get a 1:19.0, the provisional fastest time. But I was first out. Faster than Hülkenberg, of course not faster than Mercedes. So far I'm in 5th place. Can I get something more out of this car? 5th place would already be amazing. So here we are, my second lap. And the only other lap I did in this session. A little bit wide there. It's better actually if you can manage to keep it tight in there, but yeah, I have issues on this track with issues with this car. I also have issues with this track. Especially from cockpit mode, it's just so narrow. And a little too much curb there makes the car unstable on the exit. Quick correction limit the damage. So I was a 10th up in sector 1. Go into the pool area, the pool section. Good exit off the chicane, made it as short as possible. And I'm 2/10 up. Very violent on the brakes, lose the back end, keep it in check. I'm looking and improving to a time, maybe gain a place. We'll be able to even get in between the Mercedes. Probably not, they're probably too far ahead of everybody. 4th place! 2/10 quicker, 1:18.8 in the Torro Rosso. Massive surprise. And I was really, feeling good actually for the race. So I was really hoping that I could score some very good points here. Maybe get a sniff of the podium. Would that be possible? I'm generally quite a bit slower on race pace, but basically the setup I use a lot, except with it being Monaco, I just slapped on 1111 wings. and that should have been enough. So there you go, very happy. Actually gave myself a little bit of applause for making it into the top 10. But yeah. So it's cloudy here in Monaco. There's a 10% chance of rain. Now it's dry now, but it is cloudy, so it might come early on or not at all. So it's always a bit of a guess. So I don't really usually show you guys or a long line of the qualifying grid, but since I qualified so well, pretty much saw that already. So I'm just going straight on to the race strategy. Game says I usually go like put it on one lap earlier, just to make sure I avoid any AIs in the pit lane, because you usually, well, not usually, you pretty much always draw on the short end. If someone's right behind you and he also pits, then you usually have to end up waiting for him losing a position, which is incredibly frustrating since you always pit as fast as, yeah, pretty much the same time, 3.7 seconds somewhere in there, and that little fraction could just screw you over out of 2-3 positions if you're pitting along with a pack of cars behind you. So also, you know, time-wise a bit bad. Vern there up into 14th, so hooray for me. Definitely I qualified in this race, and I love the target the team gives me for the race, which you should see as soon as I get on the grid. Since I did so well in qualifying, I think they wanted me to qualify somewhere up in 12th, I think, originally speaking. I'm not sure, but having qualified so well, figured, you know, you can do that. You can probably do a little bit more. Lewis Hamilton first for been a while since he's been on pole, so he could be up for a race win finally, breaking the 5-race combo of Rosberg. There you go. See, the ones to finish means in 2nd place. Sure, buddy, with this car. Now half throttling here. Actually get a very good start by my standards. Now I feel like I crossed the line a bit, but I had to brake. I had to go in 2nd. Let's get whom can go. Let's Rosberg back by. But that's enough. I didn't really felt like I cut it, but you know, just let's roll with it. I was about to like restart it because shenanigans, but I decided to stick with it. Still in 3rd place, still up a position, and it being Monaco, and if they're on a similar strategy as me, I figured I would be able to snatch some points, which would have been awesome. But we're gonna have to see if I'm capable of doing that. Gonna have to drive cleanly as well, part of driving as fast as possible, which is where my flaws get in. So if I have to push it like mad, I'm gonna make more mistakes and need a bit more track than Monaco has, because it doesn't have any extra inch at all here. But we'll see how clean I can keep it, if I can avoid any major car damage, like avoid time loss in the pit stops. Wing, or yeah, just try not to smash my wing off. Maybe in the last sector it's alright because you don't really need it anymore. You know, you're not going to stop anymore, so you won't lose time. But you will lack a little bit of downforce in the front. So Vettel has got right with me. Alonso is behind him. Rosberg is in 2nd place, and Lewis is ahead of him. Scrape the wall there a little bit on the left side. Trying to get the Pirelli marking off. So there you go. He's good here right now. Jean-Eric had a brake issue. He just parked the car, and he's out of the race. We actually had a brake issue even earlier. I think he actually terminated in lap 2, but the engineer repeated a little bit later on. There you go. My teammate's out of the race, so I have to do my best. Well, so far I'm actually anyone who scored points, so you could say like, yeah, he should go. But I mean, that Jean-Eric should able to score some points here, but that's probably not the case. The career Torro Rosso is kind of pippy. So there you go, poor Jean-Eric. So this battle here changes. The guys in front are slowly creeping away, not going that massively. Oh, yeah, they're gaining what a Mercedes should be gaining, pretty much, with the guys behind. So in that case, yeah, my early pace is not so bad. Now we're in lap 10 now, so I'm going to pit. So you can see I'm still managed to pull away, even though I'm already struggling with grip. See, there you go. Having trouble getting through that chicane properly. The rear tyres are having the most issues. Fronts are fine. So there you go. In the pit lane for my first planned pit stop. No damage to the car. All is well. Now it's going to be interesting to see where I come out. I'm hoping, of course, I have some clean air. I mean, you can see a couple of guys now going through the rest gas in the back, and I should go out well in front of them, having a nice clean gap of air, and actually come out in 12th place. Ricciardo ahead of me. And we're back on the way. These very narrow streets.
One stop left. Be aware, we think the car behind is trying to save fuel. You're on the
keeping nice and smooth. So a lap later, first clean lap, 3 seconds off my previous lap, which of course is obvious. So I'm already catching up to Ricciardo quickly. So 0.6 seconds is now the gap. Hopefully they pit in a few laps time, because so far besides me I've passed Alonso, who was also in the pit lane. Oof. Very hard on the brakes, so I at least made sure I stayed in front of the fellow Ferrari driver. What am I saying? The Ferrari driver, and actually set a purple sector time here. That's impressive, most impressive as my race pace got. 1 purple sector notification. At some point in the race early on I was actually quicker than anybody else for 2 sectors, because it didn't last for a whole lot. Bottas in the pits, so slide up a place, I think. Pit the 8th. And there are the guys ahead of me. That is Ricciardo and the other guys who is stuck behind. 4.3 seconds, the gap is getting smaller. Lap 16, they're still out, they haven't pitted yet. So here I was thinking, they're probably on the hard tyres. At least Ricciardo might be, because he didn't actually make it into the top 10 this race. This track is so narrow that you can get more notifications from the guys. Pit lane, so back into position. Vettel, there we go, past him again. He stopped in lap 17. Now I had no idea that he was going for a 1 stop at this point. I was just feeling good that I jumped him, and on my way to the next pit stop here, he went on 7 laps longer than me. I should have realized it probably, because I was too focused trying to not do that, as you saw right before. Scraped the wall, didn't do any damage, thank heavens. So went on unscathed. Lap 17, there is Ricciardo and other people going into the pit lane, so they're not in the way, but they go even a lap longer. 16 laps for Vettel, 17 for Ricciardo. But I'm in my 3rd place, feeling real good of my chances to actually score a bloody podium in this car. But I did feel the tyre wear was a bit high, and I think going defensive was probably the best strategy. So instead of staying out longer to go on options in the final stint, I decided to go to prime tyres again, to hopefully make sure I jump these 2 guys when they pit for the 2nd time. It wasn't a bad choice, because like a little bit later on, lap 23 already, I'm struggling for grip, and Vettel is all over me. Lap 24, it's pretty much the bare minimum. About 14 laps then at this point. Pretty much 15 to go. And this should be about right for me to go, to get in the pit lane. I'm also looking at those guys ahead of me, which are a group of black marker cars, the Caterhams and Marussias. Did not really want to be held up in any way, shape or form by those guys, and I was hoping that if they stayed out a little bit longer as they did before, I would actually get even a bit bigger of a safety margin. Here we go, my second planned pit stop, the final pit stop as well. Another 3.7 seconds, no surprise there. Cannot stay ahead of this group, it seems. There's a Force India, a Red Bull, that's Ricardo, and a McLaren, which is Magnussen. Game usually needs a little bit to catch up. There he is, confirmation. Raikkonen's behind me, but here we go. A little bit later on, I've already onto the back of those guys. I wanted to get ahead of these guys as quickly as possible, but I had issues on traction. Trying to get Magnussen. I'm gonna do a late lunge. No, thinking about it. He messed up the exit a little bit. Again, I've got the corner a bit too much, but since I was still behind him, the game gives me a nudge with a warning since I haven't passed him yet. So yeah, kept going on. So since I was significantly quicker, it didn't take long for me to catch up again to the back of Ricciardo. My gear too high here. There you go. See if as soon as the throttle there's too much traction or too much wheel spin, and I lose it. So I have to stay behind them a little bit longer. This is costing me time. I was like, oh, damn it, this is not good for my podium chances. The weak spot. So here we go, doing a Perez, just shoving it in there. Didn't even get a warning. That's a bit cheeky, but like, screw you, Ricardo, you're gonna have to pit anyway. Just let me by already. I'm gonna go for your seat if at all possible. And then again, Perez. He proved to be a little bit problematic as well. Oh dear, and there's, I got a little bit of damage. Didn't lose the car completely, so minor damage is about as as lucky as you can be on this track anyway. Really got some time. So I was hoping. Alright, so Perez was problematic and I had to see major traction issues already, and these guys still hadn't stopped yet. They were going for one stoppers, which I pretty much figured out. Trying again, do a Ricciardo, but that was too much to ask. Too far back. Hit the back of him, it's alright. So another Caterham isn't helping either. Kobayashi just going out of the way at a good location, unlike what he did in Catalonia. But he wasn't any help either. And then maybe the next one. Marussia of Bianchi. No, he wasn't any help either. Ricardo's right on my tail there. I need to get by Perez, pull a gap, see if it can get up the field. As I was slowly realizing that these guys were not going to stop anymore. If they had, they probably would have done so by now. Going 11 laps, so we're only in 9 left now. So here's the moment though. Chilton, thank you Chilton. I was thinking here. Easy, because he's been slowed down. He's going to get slowed down, get a good exit. There you go, open DRS. And I got the jump on Perez. He's still got speed on me. But with a little bit of braking, and I actually see that I nudged him a little bit. Didn't hear that or feel that in the game. But the game's okay with it. And I had no idea I did anything wrong until I watched this little replay, so to speak, for the commentary track. So, bug a roll, really. So lap 33, gap stabilized a bit at some point to about 2 seconds when I started to lose a grip already. So really tyre wear killed me on this race, or killed my podium chances. It's getting darker now, rain has been projected, but it would pretty much come in too late, as the guy said, so I was happy with that. And we didn't have to drive here in the wet. 8.1 seconds, yeah, not catching Hülkenberg anymore in that short lap. That tyre wear is amazing here. My tyre wear or my challenge is horrendous. I think apart from Alonso that I know of, I'm the only one who did 2 stops. Now Alonso did 2 stops. So here we are. I was struggling for grip already. Put it onto lean mix, just making sure I got to the finish line. You can see the raindrops falling a little bit on, but it's too little. Yeah, it's only the last lap, so 1.2 seconds is the gap left. But Perez, of course, will undoubtedly catch me this lap. Being Monaco, I was pretty confident I would have been able to keep him behind me for the remainder of the lap. I think that's actually a Sauber up ahead. Lewis wins the Grand Prix. Undoubtedly, Nico Rosberg would become second. A little bit slippy slidey there. We have another DNF somewhere during the race with 20 drivers left. Making hard, losing the car almost. Even losing the car, I'm not even touching the throttle that much. It's very, very tricky with these new cars. I'm driving very gently. Let him get close to me. It didn't really matter. A little high mix, a little less, good extra power. He tries to get beside me, but yeah, straight is too short. And I get a 5th place. A bit bummed that I couldn't go for the podium, since I had to do a pit stop more. But anyway, a very good haul of points. Like I said, like the engineer just said, 10 points added to my championship standings, which maybe actually will throw me up a place or two in the championship standings. We'll have to find out soon enough. As you can see, Fernando Alonso did not actually reach the finish line, but he was far enough ahead of his teammate that he actually still finished ahead of him, grabbing a point after all that. So lucky for Fernando. And there you go, Sutil is the other DNF alongside my teammate who had a very early brake failure.
That result moves you into 8th in the Drivers' Championship.
So, 8th in the Drivers' Championship, equal points to Kevin Magnussen, but probably this 5th place puts me ahead of him, since I don't think ever Magnussen scored that high. So, good stuff. I'll probably drop back lower again. I think my season objective is 12th in the Drivers' Championship, which is going to be a bit tricky, I suppose, but this is a good step forwards. And we're going to some tracks now where I should be pretty good. Canada, the AI is usually not that great. We're looking at the constructors now, and some of the tracks I think could be good. At Austria, I have no idea, but we're gonna find out soon enough. So I hope to see you again for another race. So, have a good one. Bye bye.